Aloha, I'm Evelyn Alo with Hawaii's Plantation Village. And this year, due to COVID, we've decided to do a virtual Obon festival. So sit back and relax as you enjoy the start of Obon season and also the beauty of the Plantation Village. And we would also like to welcome you to come by to the village and visit us. Thank you and have a nice time.
The origin of Obon, which is kind of unique in Japanese Buddhism, is that thousands of years ago, when about 2,600 years ago, when the historical Buddha was still alive, one of his disciples, Mokuren, was in despair because his mother had just passed away, and he wasn't sure if she was, kind enough to achieve nirvana or pure land, or went up to the heaven. And so he discussed this with Buddha, and Buddha told him that his mother was in a hell of hungry ghosts. In Buddhist cosmology, there's different levels of hell. And because she was a greedy person in life, she had ended up in a hell of hungry ghosts. What happens is that she's reborn into this level of hell, where she's born with a very tiny mouth. So no matter how much she eats, she's always hungry. She can never fulfill her hunger, and it's a form of suffering. So her greediness led her to that fate. And in Buddhism, nothing is permanent. So eventually, she'll move on to another level, and be reborn. So Buddha told Mokuren, his disciple, that what he can do for his mother was to earn like credits, like college credits, and transfer them. What they call it in Buddhism, merit, and you can transfer that merit to her. You can do good things in life and transfer those things to your mother. So Mokuren did that, and after a lot of earnest efforts and everything and deeds, Buddha finds out that she had moved on to a better rebirth. So in joy, Mokuren started dancing in joy, and that's the origin of the Japanese tradition of Bon dance. Okay, and in the Japanese Buddhism, there's a season, usually in August, when they believe that the spirits of your ancestors, your friends, will come back to the earth and spend time with you, like a vacation. And so the Japanese tradition is, this is when you visit your ancestral graves or your friends' graves. And also in the evening, you have this thing called Bon dance, where you dance around in a circle. What Mokuren did for his mother when he found out in joy that she had moved on. So that Japanese tradition carried on, and that's the origin of Obon and Bon dance.
wisdom, mercy, and love. I'm a here. I'm a here. I'm a here.
Offer the rice and then some sweets and a fruit. The incense is to purify yourself, okay? And then you, supposed to be flowers, but we put this flower up here. And the candle to shining brightly as you go through your life. And we use this rosary, we call it Nanju, and we pray, and the way to do it is bow, then come here, take one pinch, and you get the incense, and you light it, and put it in there, and you pray, and then you take another step, and you pray it, and then you I guess that's all.
This is another type of foodstand which is portable. So some people live in apartment, they move around every so often so that they can take it with them. And then all that decoration, whatever you call it, is all in here. So it's a festivity. Everybody, lot of food. And the main one is, of course, the sugar cane. Sugar cane, we have one pair, both sides of the altar. That's for the cane, for the ancestors. Use the cane to go home. Yeah. We send them off about midnight of the final day, the Thursday, the 15th of July. And then middle of 15th of July, every 15th day of the month is a full moon. So it's so bright, they have no problem with going home. No, yeah, elderly people use a cane to go home. And we send them off with a lot of dishes. And of course, we do use, just like Chinese does, paper monies. Burn the paper monies so they can take with them. And another interesting is that we also give some prepared food, kind of leftover food, but it's especially for them to take with them to give it to the homeless. Even the spirits, there's no place to go to, yeah? So there's a spirit, that type of spirit is all around that time of the year. So you give extra food to give it to those one homeless spirits, I guess I would call it. Then after that, we send them off, and the next day, the 16th, is the festivity of, I don't know if you know, Yeisa. Yeisa is performing arts in Okinawa. Actually, that's for the last thing to do in Obon time in Okinawa. They will kind of march around the streets with the drums, sanshin, music, singing, and they only mostly young ones because they gotta beat the drums. And so Okinawa, they don't do bone dance like they do here. That's kind of Japanese stuff. We don't get our one place and dance around circle and whatnot. We don't do that. We do Yeisa. Yeisa is young people, talented resource, sanshin play, singing, and they go around the individual homes, give them music, good luck, and people just watch how they perform on the street. So that will last to the end of July. That's a festivity goes in the summertime. That's summer festivity. So that's even now it's really strong in Okinawa. We do it by lunar calendar rather than Western type calendar. That's very significant. And we do Eisa. That's really Okinawan style. The Eisa is actually for Obon, just to entertain the ancestors. So that's about how we do celebrate Okinawan Obon.
Good morning, all you bone dancers out there. My name is Betty Della Cuesta, and I am from Hawaii Shinkobukai. This is Lydia Morikawa, who want to teach you how to wear your kimono and what you basically need to wear a kimono. First of all, you have your jiban and your erishin. You put it into your jiban to make your eri nice and stiff and looks very nice on a kimono. Then you use your himo to tie your jiban together. It's left over right. Next, you will put on a koshimaki. Koshimaki is just like a slip. That's also left over right. And you align it to your length. Then you get your kimono, whatever you choose to wear, beautiful kimonos, your yukatas. Lydia here has a beautiful pink and black yukata. Carefully fix your eri nicely to align it with your jiban. Then you, according to your height, put it left over right, so that make sure that your butt inside, your right side, doesn't go below your left. So your left has to be a little bit longer. Adjust it to your waist, how comfortable you feel. And this is what you call a uni belt. A uni belt is used to tie your kimono together. It's much easier to use than a himo because it stays put. Then you take all those creases, pull it all above. Next, you're going to use what you call a shindake jime. The reason why it's called a shindake jime because it has clips. You hook it on inside. Adjust it to your waist. And that is what you call mai ita for your waist, so that your obi stays nice and firm. They have two kinds, one that you can clip and one you can put in between your obi. Then comes the last, the obi. You fold it in half, put it over your left shoulder. Measurement is the length of your arms. And it goes around once. Twice. And then you tighten it to how tight you want it.
If you are tying your own obi, do not make it too tight, or you won't be able to turn it, and you'll be stuck.
There are so many variations of tying obi. Lydia is very, very good at this. She ties for all the members of the Hawaii Shinkokai. You lock it. And you take the long side, fold it in half, not in half, but you measure how much you want it and how fancy you want it. Lydia makes fancy obis. Then you make Mitsuyama, means the mountain. Pinch it in 3. Put up. And goes right around. The reason why she's splitting it, so it won't have a big bump in the center, and it'll make it nice and smooth. Tuck it into your obi. And you can open up all your petals there. Like I said, there are many, many variations. This is just one of them.
Then you hold your breath and you suck it in.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. And you make sure you're in the center,
And
more or
voila.
less. And you're done. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, this is Ronin Kotaka, who will now show you how to wear a children's kimono, which is the most simplest thing. Ronin's mom is going to dress him. Children's kimono is very simple because they have the sash already attached to it. Oops, you're losing his slippers. Children is the same, left over right, either boy or a girl. This is a datejime. I like to put this on so that when you put on his sanjaku, it stays very, very nice and, you know, looks really nice. So it's just an added thing, it's optional. This is what you call a sanjaku for little boys and little girls. Just tie it right around your waist 2 times. 3 times. Oh, 3 times.
Okay.
Okay, mother and son. Stand up and look into the camera.
Okay, say bye.
Bye.
はるか祖国の夢見るたびに思い出してた山や川学校の先生のお便りもきれたそれでも桜は咲いてるだろうかせめて届けようこの想い日本出るときゃよ一人で出たが今じゃ子もある孫もある
そのわけじゃでむいまいたい
살았기에 무라노 막스리니 베오즈나기 으타타타로 참 파샤네이 대가 오도 타하나 참 도시타다로가 다마냐 타요리요 요새도 그래 유코카 메리켄요 가에로카니 홈 고고나 시암노 하와이 고그
そのわけじゃじゃでぬいぬいまいたい
히토모지라이모 오 가와타 케레도 사무라이 니혼노 코코로이키 와시라도 유메다요 나쿠스르나
Aloha and welcome to the Waipahu Soto Zen Temple. My name is Derek Iwata and I am the instructor for the Waipahu Soto Mission Bon Dance class. Tonight, I'll be introducing to you our group and our dance. Before we begin though, we'd like to send a special mahalo to the Hawaii's Plantation Village for inviting us to participate in this year's virtual Obon Festival. The Waipahu Soto Mission Bon Dance class was created to help those who are interested in learning the various Soto Bon dances that are done here on Oahu, Molokai, and parts of the Big Island. The class meets usually on the second Sunday of each month in the social hall. The temple, which was founded in 1903, was later relocated to its current location at 94413 Waipahu Street, right across the street from Waipahu Elementary School in 1972. Along with the Bon Dance class, the temple offers a variety of cultural classes such as judo, taiko, shodo or calligraphy, yoga, ukulele, and sanchin. Due to COVID-19, however, not all classes may be available, so please contact our resident minister, Reverend Ryoke Ishii at 671-3103. Tonight, we'll be dancing one of our favorite dances, Zumpa Ondo. So let's go to the social hall and see how it's done. Now let's learn Zumpa Ondo. Zumpa Ondo starts facing center with a 4 count to start. We'll be doing 4 steps forward, starting with the right, step and tong, step and tong. And while we do this, we're also going to be adding a clap. Step and clap, step and clap. And so there'll be 4 of these in total. So starting with our right, step and clap, step and clap, step and clap, step and clap. Now we're going to back out 4 steps, hands on hips, men like this, women like this. And we're going to start with our right foot first. So right, left, right, left. From here, we're doing a 3/4 turn to our right, ending with a clap. So 1, 2, 3, clap. Now we're gonna do half turn to our left, end with a clap. 1, 2, 3, clap. We're gonna shuffle forward 2 times, starting with the right. 1, 2, and 1, 2. From here, we're gonna pivot and face the center and start again. Step, clap, step, clap, step, clap, step, clap. Back out, hands on hips 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3/4 turn to your right. 1, 2, 3, clap. Now half turn to your left. 1, 2, 3, clap. Shuffle forward twice. 1, 2, 1, 2. Pivot to the center and start again, and keep repeating until the song ends. And that's how we do Zumba Ondo. Thank you for joining us tonight. We look forward to dancing with you again in the future. どうもありがとうございます。
ありけ
Our group, the original group, originated in the late 40s, early 50s. A group of plantation workers trying to, bring something from Japan that they remember growing up. They're all plantation workers in Eva. My dad was one of them. Two of my uncles, and just down our street there were three players. Mr. Nea, Isamu Nea, Mr. Yamasaki, my dad, Tatsumi or Buddy Azuma, my grandpa Jujiro Nunosaki, his brother Yujiro, and my uncle Akira Azuma. There's a Mr. Sato, and several other plantation workers that got together and started this group.
What's special about Obon is when everybody comes together as friends, family, as just a good time to get away from the world and enjoy each other's friendship.
It's a time where we get to celebrate with our ancestors that passed. Obon is usually June to August, September time frame, and that's the purpose of it, to kind of get a time together with your ancestors.
Why Bon Dance is so special to me is because my grandmother introduced Bon Dance to me at such a young age, and now she's passed on, and for me, dancing brings her memory justice for me.
Oh, for the younger one, it's because then they get to learn and then just continue the customs of Obon. It's good that we learn from our traditions now and keep up with it.
The reason why it's so good to keep tradition during this pandemic is because so much people have lost so much during this pandemic, and at least it gives us a sense of hope and a sense of remembrance of where we came from.
I guess it gives people hope. This pandemic is lasting over a year. Hopefully we see the tapering down and eventually getting over this big hump where we can get together again and celebrate like they did before.
Oh, very challenging because a lot of the groups were not able to practice because they didn't have a place, or we had to do social distancing and we couldn't gather no more than 5 or at all. But as we opened up, like you saw today, at least we could do social distancing as much as we can, but we're outdoors, so it made it a little easier today. But to plan this was very challenging, just to convince people to be part of this.
With COVID, unfortunately, there's no face-to-face Bon Dance, no physical Bon Dance with friends and the general public and family. Right now, our only option is having these virtual Bon Dances.
This year, we don't get to see each other, and again, people can't go to the Bon Dance, and a lot of people enjoy dancing, and not to mention the good food too.
what I'd like to point out, I guess, the specific, like, you know, everything people adapt. So our tradition is totally different from Japan's Bon tradition. And there's two things I guess I can point out about that. One is in Japan, there's a certain date in August that they practice. So throughout from northern point of Japan to southernmost part of Japan, it's all the Bon dance is usually done during that certain period in August. But in Hawaii, we change it into what they call Bon season, and it starts from beginning of June and possibly late May, and it lasts all the way until like about October or so. And what happened is that, I'll give you an example. Right now there are 34 Honganji, West Honganji temples throughout Hawaii. 80, 90 years ago, there were almost 80 Nishi Honganji temples throughout Hawaii. And so every little town had a Honganji, and if they all did it all at one particular weekend in August, then only that community can support it, to sell their fried noodles and things like that. And they wanted the kokua of the neighboring communities. So, like in Oahu, the Honganji Council will get together and say, okay, Waipahu Honganji, you do it on this weekend. Aya Honganji the following weekend, Wainai Honganji, Kahuku Honganji, Wailua Honganji, so when you have big, lots of temples within that subdivision like Honganji, then it could stretch all the way from June through October. And in modern days, everybody owns cars, so even if you're living in Kailua or something, you can come to Wailua and help support that particular church, the same church that you belong to. So that you don't see in Japan because it's just done on one particular weekend. So that's one adaptation. We always start off the season first weekend of June. So we usually kick it off. But it started out by labor-related community leaders, such as Major Hideo Okada, who was the labor leader, ILWU, and also business leaders like Goro Arakawa, who owned the Arakawa store and all that. So there were a lot of Japanese founders in HPB. So I guess it kind of made sense that they do a Bon dance. So in Waipahu, there are two Buddhist sects. Soto Mission and the Nishi Honganji. So they alternate. We alternate the priests to officiate the opening ceremony. Yeah? So every other year. So this year is Soto. Next year will be Honganji.
A lot of these, some of these instruments basically came from the mill back in Eva. For example, this is a brass casing that came from a gauge. So it has a thread marks and a hole where the pipe came down. And there would be a dial here in glass. And this is made out of brass. This is a piece of brass piping that also came from the mill, probably from the steam system. And we just weld it onto a piece where we can secure it to something, and we basically hit it with some metal sticks. And this is a flute that we play. A fue is what we call it. It's made out of bamboo. This one came from Japan, and they still make it, and it's made out of bamboo. These are our sticks. Bachi sticks that we use to hit the small drum, which is called the shime, and we also have a bigger drum which is called the taiko, and we have a bigger, fatter sticks for that instrument. And those sticks are made we use hau, the hau tree, We dry it up and cut it to length and sand it down to a certain diameter. The reason why we use how is because it's a relatively soft wood, and we would rather the stick to break than our taiko, because the taikos run, it can easily run $10,000 and out, so depending on the size.
Another interesting thing is that what makes it different from like in Japan is that Japan is very regional. So if you were to go to Niigata prefecture, then the Niigata type of music predominates. But in Hawaii, because these workers came from so many different prefectures in Japan, so many different type of drumming style is represented. If you go to Soto Mission and Honganji, basically you get, my experience was Okinawan style, which is very unique type of drumming. That is always represented in both Bon dance and what they call Fukushima style drumming. Fukushima is a very high beat type of drumming, and it's favored by most Bon dance groups. So whether it's in Waipahu Soto Mission or Waipahu Honganji, those two type of drumming is represented. But when I first came to the Bon dance in HPV, there's a third style of drumming, what they call Iwakuni drum. Is also, that's the first time I really heard Iwakuni in a while, because the two Waipahu temples did not do that. That was very unique. And what is ironic is that Iwakuni is in Yamaguchi Prefecture, and Yamaguchi Prefecture is the second most numerous. It's next to Hiroshima. More Japanese trace their ancestry to Yamaguchi than any other 47 prefectures except Hiroshima. So it's the second highest, numerically, the second highest prefecture. Fukushima, which is way more north, I believe it's like six highest. So it's still, there are quite a bit of Fukushima descendants. Meiji Hirono is Fukushima born, and Fukushima style. And what is unique is, like, if you ever go to Fukushima, Japan, and you ask the typical person, is there one prefecture that you hate? Almost everybody will say Yamaguchi. There was a civil war going on in Japan, and those who wanted to bring the emperor back to power versus those who wanted to keep the shogun in power. There's a big civil war, and Yamaguchi Prefecture provided almost all the generals, the top leadership of the pro-imperial forces, and they're gonna take over Tokyo, and all these pro-shogunate forces will just be driven more and more north, and they make one of the last-ditch stand in the castle in Fukushima, and ultimately the pro-imperial forces will burn down the castle, and a lot of the samurais will either die or commit harakiri, and before that, the day before that, all their wives and children, they wanted their husband to die to fight without worrying about their family, will kill themselves. So hundreds of wives and children also died the day before the castle burned down. And Fukushima people still remember that grudge. So if there's one prefecture they hate, it's the Yamaguchi Prefecture. And what is ironic is that these two big immigrant groups will come to Hawaii to work in the sugar contract, and they'll have another civil war with the Bon dance drumming style. And in Hawaii, Fukushima will win. So 90% of the Bon dance in Hawaii is the high beat Fukushima style. There's very few places that does the Iwakuni style. Iwakuni is a city in Yamaguchi. Yeah? So and I found it fascinating that HPV does the Iwakuni style drumming also. So I think it's, for anybody who lives in Oahu, I think it's worth it to come and look at the HPV Bon dance, because you just don't see it in most places. Yeah, the Iwakuni style drumming.